Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and hello to all the freedom fighters from Britannia and all over the world, and especially to all the left-wing trolls and Islamists waiting in the live chat. We have some good news for you guys in regards to what happened to Tommy Robinson a couple of days ago when he was arrested, when he was out celebrating his daughter's birthday with her friends. Let's get on with the show. Okay, now, 2 days ago, on Saturday, we heard that the police decided to arrest Tommy Robinson again. And my guess was right. It was something to do with his bail condition. In case you don't know, a few months ago, when Tommy was having breakfast in London, he was arrested. I know it's a little bit out of context, but he was attending a pro-Jewish rally, and not necessarily even as a supporter. Of course he supports it, but as a journalist who reported. But some of the organisers, they're the more liberal-minded, illiberal-minded organisers, told the police beforehand, if Tommy gets close, even though he was already a supporter, we don't want him there. And the power that they had over the police was absolutely fascinating, by the way. Anyway, they took him away. They used about 20-30 police officers to drag him away. He didn't do anything wrong. Then the judge decided to put a bail condition on his bail, obviously, that said that you are banned from going to these sort of protests for a while. Okay, even though he didn't do anything wrong, but that is at least proportionate. But they added something else, which meant you were also banned from coming to Greater London. M25. The whole circle, in case you don't know about London, is the whole of London, basically. Parts of Essex and Surrey and Kent and everywhere. It was very much not proportionate, as you guys know. And but I had a feeling something like this was going to happen. It was their daughter's birthday. And he's going to explain this video, by the way, because obviously we had Tommy explaining what happened afterwards when he came out of the court, which I'm going to show you in a second. And he had a feeling something was going to happen, but he still said he's a free Englishman, and just because the rule said something doesn't mean the rule is right. And actually, I agree with that. We currently have a situation where the state uses powers to shut down certain people, and they would just say, "Well, we're just using the rule of law." Really? If you just make up things as you go, it's not really the rule of law, and it's not really proportionate. Anyway, let's go to the moment when Tommy Robinson came out of the Croydon Magistrates Court this morning, and he explained exactly what happened. And of course, he dealt with a good judge that essentially said, yeah, it's not really a big problem. You can leave now, basically. Let's go.
How are we doing? Good to be out. What do you think of the verdict there?
Well, it shows that the judge doesn't agree with the fact that me taking my daughter out for her birthday should be against my bail conditions. My bail conditions are not to enter the M25. I don't know what that's got to do with the crime I didn't commit. I got attacked by the police. My rights so far have been taken away for 5 months. Yeah. So some people would be saying, well, why did you go to Crystal Palace? Yeah. For me, I've missed my daughter's birthdays, I've missed their Christmases, I've landed on holiday in Mexico and been taken from them and put in a detention centre. So when I asked my daughter what she wants to do for her birthday, I am Luton Town mad. My 12-year-old's Luton Town mad, yeah? My youngest. Out of all of them, it's her that's Luton mad. So I said, what do you want to do? She said she wants to go to Crystal Palace. And we went to TGI Fridays, we went in a party bus. My friend gave us a party bus for the day with her friends. We had a beautiful day. Luton scored in the 96th minute, which was the equaliser. So even though I got detained and I was expecting, then I didn't expect to get out. So some people would say it was stupid, but remember, at the minute, PC Shah is who I have to ask permission for, who refused permission for everything so far, yeah? He's refused permission for family days out for me. So I went to London, I saw the football with my daughter on her birthday. Yes, I've been arrested, but remember, I'm also making a documentary showing this. The judge obviously didn't agree because I'd be in jail right now. Yeah. The only problem is that these bail conditions are not. So, Judge DC Snow, District Judge Snow, who's the one who condemned Julian Assange as well, DJ Snow has held my case in front of him that it can't go to anyone else. But when you breach bail, you go before the nearest court. Yeah. So it's got. If this would have gone before DJ Snow, I'll be in jail. Yeah, 100%. I'll be in jail. And some people say, why would you even risk that? Why would I even risk that? Again, I'm a free man and this is a free country, supposedly. Yeah, I've done nothing wrong. The whole country knows I've done nothing wrong. I should not have a barrier where I can and can't access, because it's insane. And the fact that no politicians and the fact that no journalists are even speaking up against this, again, is insane. I did nearly go to jail. I'm very grateful that I had my team at Carson K who were alerted straight away, who were ready with my KC, who come. And you heard what he said at the start. I wasn't going to be releasing you. I wasn't going to be releasing you. But the point of the matter of the fact is, the bail conditions are meant to be to prevent me committing further offences to do with what I was arrested for, which was having a breakfast. Yeah. So, what has me taken my? How has the government, not the government, how has one police officer, a Muslim police officer, got the power to decide if I can take my daughter out for her birthday or not? How is that even happening? So again, for me, it's an issue. I believe I'm free. I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in freedom of movement. I believe in freedom of the press. So yeah, I did go to London, and I am free again. But the question is, for how long?
Yes, for how long? PC Shah. All right, so first things first. Tommy is right about a lot of things, except when it comes to football, but that's a different matter. Of course, he supports Luton. It's not his fault. But putting aside the issue with PC Shah, the problem we just had was he got lucky that he had a judge that was in a good mood and he was sensible. I mentioned this earlier today, actually, because in case you didn't see, I went to the belly of the beast, the corporate media. I was on a Julia Hartley-Brewer show on Talk TV, and we were discussing the policing, the Metropolitan Police, and just the rule of law in general, the justice system, especially when it came to the counter-protester who got arrested a couple of days ago in London. And I did say, and the same applies to what happened to Tommy, we have a centralized country, unlike America and some other countries. So we have one central government that leads. The problem with that is that on the one hand, they come and give you blanket policies for the whole country. On the other hand, we have something called postcode lottery. Same applies to the NHS, your hospitals, your schools, and what sort of police officer you're dealing with. If you're lucky to live in a good area, you're fine. If not, then you're not fine. It's not consistent. So a couple of days ago, when you saw me reporting from the protests, a couple of the police officers in one corner stopped me from reporting and going through. I had to go around and deal with a couple of other different police officers, and they were nice. So there's no consistency. Same applies to this judge situation in the courts and PC Shah, who, by the way, again, we'll talk about that later because they're a little bit dodgy in general, especially when it came to the Julian Assange case. But we have to focus on the reality of the situation, because those who say, but these were the rules that were set and rule of law matters and he broke the bail, right? Okay. First things first. Why do we live in a country that is so centralized that we cannot, and by we, I'm not talking about us little people, I'm talking about anybody else who has a position of power or influence, can challenge rules or regulations that are not proportionate, for example. These are not the rules that were set as a blanket policy for the whole country when it comes to the English common law, for example, or anything else for that matter. So when I say it was not proportionate, essentially that means, and great thinkers throughout history have said, pro-freedom people, that just because a law is a law doesn't mean it's right. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to go around and disrespect every set of rule of law, because the rule of law matters, but you also have to question bad rules. You can't just say yes in a blind way, because that is the creation of Stalin's Russia. You don't want that. You have to question authorities. And the beauty of this place, this land, the Anglo-Saxons, before Magna Carta, we had a concept called governed by consent. Way before Magna Carta. Not many people know about this. And the whole idea was that the English in general, and of course alongside the Welsh at the time, the Anglo-Saxons in general, created the mentality that you always have to question authority. Not for the sake of anarchy, but to resist authoritarianism and tyranny. That's why over the centuries, apart from certain moments, the history of this country has always been good in general. As in, the state has all the power, but there is a handshake agreement between the people and the authorities. And usually worked. When it went too far, the people knock on the door of the people in the position of power, and they get some more power. These days, it's getting worse in the name of democracy, Even though we think that we have liberal democracy, but in reality, faceless bureaucracy and faceless entities and faceless laws are acting like tyrants. We don't necessarily need to have an individual to be a dictator. We have set of rules that are just made up on the spot, and that they are becoming dictatorial. So the bail condition was completely crazy anyway. It makes no sense. The problem with that, for example, is that if Tom Robinson had to go somewhere abroad, and certain places you can only get a flight from London, he's not allowed to enter London to get to Heathrow Airport, for example. That makes no sense. He's doing a documentary on the same issue, and he's not allowed to go and sit with MPs in Parliament, because Parliament happens to be in London. He's not allowed to be in zone 4, 5, 6 of London, which is basically out of London, the Greater London. Nothing to do with protests. It's just somewhere, Crystal Palace basically, to celebrate his daughter's birthday because she really wanted to see the football game. And apparently that's still causing distress to some people. How if the bail condition was simply about, just for the sake of it, for a while, don't go to any Palestinian or Israeli protest, I would still challenge it, but I would say, okay, at least it's relevant. At least the bail condition, the ban is relevant, right? But no. Also, PC Shah, we'll talk about that because I can see some people already mentioning him in the live chat. It's absolutely fascinating, by the way. The whole thing is quite crazy. Ray says, Muslim judge, what did you expect? The same judge that jailed Julian Assange. Certain individuals in the establishment have too much power. And PC Shah is one of those people in certain situations. Why do you have to get permission from one person? Why does one person have so much power? In the name of the book. They just say, oh, no, we're just following the book. I'm not talking about the holy book or unholy book. I'm talking about the book of law, the rule of law that we have. They are hiding behind the concept of rule of law and democracy. But they are misusing it. The same applies to the police when it comes to exercising powers. Spanish John says, how are you going to ban him from Greater London and then make his court date in Croydon? Same applied to the other month, last month, when he had to go to Westminster Magistrates Court. And I'm like, that makes no sense. And then they told him, like today, you have until, 2 p.m. to leave the city. What is this? Some sort of medieval, a crazy nonsense. You have to leave the city, use the main gates to leave. It's just stupidity. Anyway, Lorna says, glad to hear you kick butt. I'm guessing you're talking about Tommy, not me, in court. Always thought that the UK was free from the bully boys. But this was always the case. So while this country was always centralized and establishment runs the country, always, we always also had the system, checks and balances to prevent bully boys, basically. Whether it's a judge, whether it's the police, whether it's some actual rogue person. Right now, there's no safeguarding for us as civilians and citizens of the country to be not bullied, essentially. Whether it's being bullied by a bunch of loud minorities who want to ban you or deplatform you or cancel you from university campuses or media channels, like obviously Tommy being banned on GB News, for example, the home of free speech, to actual people with power, whether it's the judges or police or whoever they are, or mayors. It's a little bit scary, the situation. And we're not criticizing the establishment because we want anarchy. We are criticizing it because we want it to be better. We are patriotic. We want the government and the establishment in general to serve the public, everybody equally. As long as you're not harming anybody, you should be free. It's not rocket science. Tony says, great to see you out doing your thing. Foresee a time when those in power will be so scared of 2CTV that they will try to ban you. Keep doing what you're doing. We need you. Well, I mean, there are already some people who were scared enough to get the police to contact me the other week, of course. And the other day, of course, we also had the police when I was filming. The moment they were arresting a counter-protester who was the actual victim, they were questioning me, saying, why are you, as 2CTV, even reporting this? Why are you filming this? I'm like, because you're not doing your job. Because people need to know. I am acting as VAR, for those who know VAR in football. Because nobody trusts your judgment anymore. That's the reality. If people trusted you, then everything would have been fine. But it's not just the police. This is becoming a poison across the board. Whether it's the NHS, people don't trust certain decisions in the NHS management. People don't trust the education system anymore because it seems to be infiltrated. People don't trust the police anymore. But these people are not some sort of far left people who want to defund the police. These are patriotic people who want the police to be better, who want the education system to be better, or their healthcare system and everything else like that. But apparently we're the bad guys because we want the country to run in a normal way, like back in the day. Everyone's crazy. Speaking of crazy, there were a lot of people in the live chat and the comment section. Because earlier today, I went to the Reform UK press conference where they announced Lee Anderson defecting from the Conservative Party to Reform UK. And then I was to stop the video because we were going to wait for... Well, the speech finished. There was a quick Q&A with the press. And then the session finished. And Lee was then supposed to do one-on-one interviews with all the media channels, including 2CTV. And he did GB News, and then he did a couple, and then he did BBC News. Then they were being frustrating, and he walked out. So I started the live stream, about to interview him, and he was basically left, and everyone was like, what's going on? There were people, there's a problem we have, by the way. There are people sitting in their mum's basements, leaving comments, trolls, saying, they're basically making a judgment, pretending that they were there, they knew exactly what happened, saying, Maya, that didn't happen. The session finished, and Lee Anderson just left. He went home. Like, what? And then someone said, but he did an interview with GB News. Yes, that's the whole point. The one-on-one interviews started, he did GB News, was fine. Then he did BBC, and then they were being, I don't know, annoying as usual, the broadcast medias. You already saw some of the questions they were asking at the Q&A. And the problem is that Lee was a little bit sensitive, so he just gave up and left. And I was trying to locate him, and I couldn't. Then afterwards, I sent him a text message. I said, good job today, and just try to ignore the media bullies because they get a little bit annoying at times. And he said, thank you. But that was the reality. People were pretending that didn't happen. They were saying, no, we saw Lee on GB News, and he just went home. Everything was fine. What is Maya talking about? He walked out. You weren't there. Idiots. Anyway, forget about the idiots. Let's talk about what's going on in the live chat with you beautiful people. Scott says, don't trust the police, don't trust the government, don't trust the mainstream media, which is such a shame because this was not really a norm in our culture until a few decades ago, a couple of decades ago. The trust is going down massively, and the establishment are still clueless about it. Instead of fixing themselves, they are cancelling you if you criticize them. Oh, Dave says, I watched your interview earlier, Tommy. You've been stitched up some rotten. Glad you got to see the proper judge. Yeah. Bluebird says, oh dear. Maya just sat down to see what today's real news is. And I've been unsubscribed. Again? Seriously? You're an itch. The powers to be need scratching. Keep telling the truth and please watch your back. Yes, this is still happening. I have raised this now with YouTube, whatever is going on with this glitch or bug. Some accounts get repeatedly unsubscribed, literally almost every day or every couple of days. So it doesn't affect everybody, by the way. It's just some people repeatedly. Make sure to check your subscription on a regular basis manually, unfortunately. But the good news is, look at us. 419,000. We are now, yes, as I said last night, we are getting close to 2,000 new subscribers every single day, thanks to your support and your love. We're actually getting, let me just check, because I'm pretty sure we are close to 420. Yeah, we're getting close to 420,000, slowly. It's going up very fast already. Anyway. Did someone say citizens arrest? Oh, yeah. Citizen arrest PC Shah for high treason, corruption, and misconduct. The thing is, obviously, we need to have some sort of mechanism to be able to hold them to account properly. But we also don't want to create some sort of the Dark Knight Rises moment, Dark Knight Returns. What was the name of the movie? The third Batman movie, where you just have kangaroo courts by the public, just deciding this is treason, that's treason. It could potentially be treason, but you have to also use the right mechanism. Right now, we can't use the existing mechanisms because we can't trust the actual platforms because it's run by the same people like PC Shah. So we just need to reform the system from the bottom to the top, because you can't really use the existing platforms. Jeff says, I've had people say that they've resubscribed 3 or 4 times to my channel too. So yes, do check. Yes, this problem is still ongoing. It's been going on for a long time, by the way. But you have to check, unfortunately. Oh, I missed the super chats. Sorry, guys. What's going on? Woof. Loving the name. Says Maya, thanks, mate. Well, thank you. Woof, woof, woof. Super chat from Peter Marsh. Thank you so much, Mr. Marsh. And also one of our regulars, Leslie Manning. Thank you so much. And Mandy as well. No comments part of the super chats. And we have a super sticker from Joe. Thank you very much, Joe. And a message, actually. Super chat message from Jeff Davis. Saying, I hope I am wrong, but at 64 years old, I think Britain is lost forever. And I hope I'll never see the end. Thanks for the voice of normality, Maya. Well, the way I see it is, we are losing, or you could even say we've lost the culture, the country, and the respect that the establishment used to have. So that Britain is lost. It never means it's lost forever. That is all, even if it's lost now, you can reclaim it. But people have to want it. Right now, and by people, I'm not talking about you guys or me. People, everybody else. The moment they want to have it, some sort of change, and fight back, then we can actually always take it back. We had countries and cultures and tribes throughout history going up, going down, being lost completely. I mean, right now, Iranians in Iran under the Islamic occupation, they lost everything in 1979. All that heritage, all that history, all that civility. But they are still more motivated and positive and optimistic while they're still doing the uprising than most people here, or in Canada, or in France. If Iranians, whether they are Persian Iranians or Jewish Iranians or Kurdish Iranians or Turkish Iranians, all the different types of Iranians, if they can be, after all these years of actual oppression and loss of culture and civility, as in culture on the surface in terms of the government destroying the culture, they've destroyed the heritage sites and everything else, if they can still be optimistic because they got nothing else to lose, we can do it too. After decades of Oliver Cromwell's dictatorship, people were still able to rise up again against Oliver Cromwell. Let's not forget about that. I mean, that was a very weird U-turn. Charles I went crazy. Then we're like, okay, let's try Oliver. Oliver went crazy. And then like, okay, let's just go back, bring Charles II. That was a crazy moment. It was like a 15-minute drunk moment in English history, because we don't do revolutions here. It was the only revolution that actually happened. It can't really even call that revolution, but it was, because the whole system changed. It was just literally like a good analogy, which is to use an English football fan going out on a Friday, making a mistake, fixing it on Sunday. So that's basically what happened with Charles and Oliver, and of course the second Charles. And look at the current Charles. What's going on now? Super sticker from Asia. Thank you very much for your support. And Drew Gifford says, missed you in Telford, my hometown. We shall never surrender. How did you not come to the protest in your own hometown? Treason, Drew. Treason. No, thank you very much for the support. Good. We got people who also don't like Oliver Cromwell. Good. Sensible people. Guy was a nutter. He was burning books. Who burns books? Apart from Muslims. Peter Green and communists. Peter Green, thank you so much again, saying our country is never lost till we give up. Screw that. No surrender. Spot on, Mr. Green. And a big super chat from White Angel that is actually big. There we go. Make it small. Size matters, guys. Size always matters. I cry a lot over what is happening to my country. Today I listened to the World War II songs because this is what it reminds me of. Lions, get your pride and unite. I do not want my grandchildren praying to to Alan Snack Bar. Alan, where is Alan? Who is Alan? We still don't know Alan. Anyway, super chat again from Mandy. Thank you so much, Mandy, for your support. Going back to the other live chats. What's Lisa saying? If you ever have the misfortune to have a PC Shady investigate a crime against you, don't answer the door. He won't help you. He only helps the criminal. That's how he will rise in the ranks. So we are actually, I was talking to Stuart, my friend, who also comes to these protests to film from a different angle in case I mess up. We had a good chat because we are now going to be doing a Freedom of Information request to find out who runs. Oh, okay, we have a spammer. Is Afzad, one of our trolls is back. Sorry, I got distracted. We need to sort this out. Yes, this guy is Afzad in name and sad in life. He's spamming. Okay, I am gonna have to ban you and then deport you. Bye-bye, Afzad. Don't spam. Anyway, go back to your goat virgins. What was I saying? Oh yes, we're going to do a Freedom of Information request when it comes to the Metropolitan Police's social media account. We want to know who runs it. We want to know how it's run, because I explained this over the last couple of days. When the counter-protester was arrested as the victim, they changed their story, the actual police officers on the ground, and then their social media team when they posted it on X, right? At first they said, well, we were just maintaining peace. Then they said we saved him from himself. Then they said he assaulted someone. And then they said he's done nothing wrong. Usually, as I've been saying many times, in this country, everything's so bureaucratic. Even if you get paramedics with ambulance coming, they will take another half an hour just to write down on the paperwork and everything else. Somehow, while the arrest was happening, 10 minutes later, while the whole thing was still ongoing, the Metropolitan Police's social media account were able to have all the facts. By the way, they didn't, but they were pretending they have all the facts. They released a statement saying this is exactly what's happened. Really? I reported my AirPods being stolen a year ago, and we're still going through paperwork. And I still don't have my AirPods, and I know exactly where they are because I could check my iPhone. You could track them. So you still can't get the facts about that, but you knew exactly what was happening on the ground, right? So we want to do a Freedom of Information request to discover who is running the social media team at the Met, because let's not forget that the Mayor of London is the police commissioner. If we find out that somehow there is a link between those running the social media, the PR for the Metropolitan Police, and the City Hall and the mayor's office, then that could be a big scandal. And then there are people watching right now from the Met saying, why is that a scandal? Boo. Because you're making it politicized. If there's any link, whether you're actually running it from the office, from the City Hall, or under the supervision of a mayor's team as the commissioner, or the actual PR team of the Met rather than police officers, and with the lawyers and everybody else, that is not an actual police force social media account or communication platform. Idiots. Allah says, tell the police they hurt your feelings when they took your AirPods. I should have had AirPods with the Palestinian flag on it. Then that way I could have received. Basically, if you do anything in London, if you want to go somewhere to stay safe or whatever you want to do, just have some sort of Palestinian flag on you or some sort of tattoo. Then you'll be fine. Back in the day, it used to be a couple of years ago, it's just BLM. You just have to have a BLM logo on you or somewhere. Now it's changed now. I don't know what's going to happen next year, but every year there's some crazy nonsense. I've missed super chats again. How naughty. We got Laurie, thank you very much, saying keep Tommy free. Maya, you are the media. God bless you. Thank you very much. Luke as well, thank you. Will anything but violence fix our country? If so, yes, absolutely. A soft British revolution. We've done it before. Before violence, there is another level that you can use, and it's called pressure. You can put pressure. While they are using the so-called liberal democracy against us, because they are not respecting democracy, the people in power, we can still use that against them as well, because they are absolutely terrified of losing power and influence. So let's not forget about that. We still have power. We're just not exercising it. When we get frustrated, me and you guys, saying, oh, well, we don't know what to do, it's because we're still alone. We're still a smaller crowd who are more proactive and vocal about these things. By the way, we are growing. Compare this to 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But we have to get everybody else on board. Those who want reform, those who want to save this country and make Britain great again. There's a rise of Anglophobia. There's a rise of Christophobia. Yeah. And no one's doing anything about it. If politicians and the Prime Minister, who goes out to make speeches about anti-Semitism and Islamophobia and the far right at the same time for some reason, if he really cares about phobias, he should focus on Anglophobia, because that is a problem right now. And again, also hatred against Christianity. It's not necessarily hatred against Christianity, it's an actual proactive fight against it. It's happening all over the Western side. Most places, obviously. We're going to come back later because there's another video. I sat down to speak with the leader of Reform UK, Richard Tice, earlier. We were discussing Lee Anderson's defection to the Tories, from the Tories to Reform, and we're going to be talking about that in details later on. So the best thing you can do is subscribe to the channel. But also, let's not forget, you have 2 days, literally 2 days, to book your tickets and join us in Manchester on the 13th of March at 7 p.m. to celebrate 2CTV getting 400,000 subscribers, because this is your channel. You did it alongside me. It was with your support. And also we're going to have a couple of special guests. One of them is going to be, well, I can't reveal too much. Let's just say he's a mayoral candidate. I can't say who, I can't say what party, I can't say what city. Can't say anything, but it will be interesting if you want to come. And I think I'm going to be there. Yeah, I'll be there. And of course, the channel's favorite producer, Lacey Butcher. You guys talk about her more than anybody else apparently at this point. So Lacey Butcher is going to be there as well, and many others as well. Oh, we got another super chat. I was just about to say goodbye to you guys. Come on, guys. What's going on? Lorraine Smith. Thank you very much, Lorraine. Saying, I'll promote your channel everywhere. You are my only news channel, The Real News. Thank you so much, Lorraine Smith. It's the only way to do it. We need to act like COVID, spread around like a virus, mutate the channel. It's the only way to beat the media, the mainstream media. The Pagan Viking, thank you very much for your support as well. And another one from Australia. Australians are here as well. No, I think we've got everything. Good. Sometimes I leave the live stream and I realize I forgot 1 or 2 super chats. But again, thank you very much for joining. We're going to come back shortly in a bit. I need to have dinner first, and then we're going to give you guys all the other updates about what happened today with Lee Anderson and Reform UK. Defection, big defection. It's not really a surprise, but it was a surprise. You've been watching 2CTV. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.